If you click this video away, then please tell me what the reason for it was, so that I can improve. Otherwise, hi and welcome. I'm trying to learn physics. Today, the proof that light travels in waves, or how light behaves, the continuation. And after we've done it, we're gonna do body-centered training. And if you participate in the body-centered training, that is at your own risk. The proof that light travels in waves. The fact that light travels in waves was proved by the English physicist Thomas Young in 1802. He shone a beam of light through two parallel slits onto a screen. Okay, he had a beam of light, a flashlight, a torch, whatever. Then he had a screen behind it, and in the middle of them, he had two parallel slits. I don't really get it from the picture. One and two, another one was. And that was in 1802 and done by Thomas Young. Okay. Instead of the beams producing a brighter area on the screen where they overlapped, as would be expected, if light traveled as a stream of particles, they produced bright bands in line with the slits separated by darker bands. Okay, the light is coming onto the screen. And they're coming through two slits. Where are now the two parallel slits? Maybe these two, do you mean? And if the light would travel through them, they would be brighter. If it would come as a stream, they produced bright bands in line with the slits separated by darker bands. This phenomenon of interference arises from the fact that when two sets of waves cross, they reinforce each other where their crests coincidence and cancel each other where the crests of one coincidence with the throws of the other. I don't really get what we mean with the throws, but what we mean is they're coming as round waves, I think, and the point where the two heads of the wave, the two round parts, the top of it, come together, where the wave gets stronger. Where it is the other way around, where the rest of the wave is, they cancel each other out. It would be nice to explain it a bit better and understand it also better. This phenomenon of interference arises from the fact that when two sets of waves cross, they reinforce each other where their crests coincide and cancel each other where the crests of one coincide with the throws of the other. One crest with the throws of the other. I don't know what a throws is. Let's try to understand that graph. Sodium flame produces beam of monochromatic yellow light. Okay, we're having light. Now we're having maybe a specific light, but it actually comes all the time the same. Basically, we're having just light. Now we're having the crests. And now we're having the throws somewhere. Where's the difference between crest and through? Wave from crest to crest. So the wet are the waves, not wet. Wet are the waves. We're seeing it from the side, and every ring is a hill, but we're seeing it basically from the top. Like water from the top, not from the side. And that makes more sense. No, it does not. What does it? And the throws. So a wave is the white band. They're whiter and more grey. I'm not sure if everyone can see that, but they're more whiter and more grey waves, lines. And one is every time interchanged, a white one and a grey one, or brown, almost brown. And the white ones are the crests, and the brown one are the throws. So we don't see it from the side. We don't see the waves from the side. We see it from the top, like you see water from the top waves, and you see the waves like that from the top onto the lake. And now every time the lake is up on the crest, that are the crests, and when it goes down, that is the throw. And the white thing, we're seeing it up at the crest and on the throw. And now it makes sense. Whenever a wave comes, a high wave at the crest and meets another wave just at the through at the bottom, they both cancel it out. The water which is here more basically meets the one which is lower, and they both meet in the middle. All the water which is here more, comes into that one, and that water was low, or comes up and they meet in the middle, they cancel out. So high wave, normal is here, and the high wave and the low tide with, I think it's called through. The through comes if they two meet, when these two cancel each out because they meet now in the middle. If one is high, one wave, and another one is high, then they add onto each other. What would two lows do? Okay, but we understand it better. Now we're having a wave from crest to crest. Yes, it's always a wave, a white line there, that is always the crest, and then the brown one is the bottom. So one crest, one full wave are two lines here. Always the white one and then the brown one. So always two lines, one wave. I don't know if everyone can see that. Wave from crest to crest on the next graph the same, and then again waves from two slits overlap. And if you look closely, we're having, but I think we understood it enough. Wave from crest to crest, and now translucent screen for viewing the pattern produced by the slits. I forgot it again. I think translucent was now that it does not let light through. And the transparent means light through. But I'm not so sure. Translucent screen for viewing the pattern produced by the slits. Then crests from one slit coincide with throughs from the other. They cancel each other out, no light. So the light moves in waves, and if the top light comes together with the through of the light wave has a through. But if the light is moving in a wave, why would we then at one point no light and another light there? Or is it that lights... Is the wave photon moving like that? Why is it doing that? I think we're mixing something up, but what the answer is, I think the answer is as good as our misunderstanding, measured at its fascination level. Bar with narrow slit, acting as center from which waves spread out. So we're having a little hole in the first bar, through that the light comes again through. Bar with two parallel narrow slits, both act as centers from which waves spread out in union. So first it goes through the first one. I don't know the direction it shows. It comes through the first bar, the light, and through just the hole in the middle. And then through the next bar, then through two parallel holes. What is the mean with the use of the first bar? Where crests from both slits coincide, followed by throughs from both sides, waves are reinforced, producing bright light. Read again. Where crests from both slits coincide, followed by throughs from both slits, waves are reinforced, producing bright light. Yes, the crests met together, and now where double is high, the throughs are logically. So there we have it. If two throughs come together, they also come more deeper. But it seems to be no problem. I don't know what that does not mean with the light travels as waves. Does it mean the photon is doing that? And why is the photon doing it? Is the photon maybe shaped like a boomerang a bit, and that is why it's going on like that? Imagine that it's going down and turning and going the other line, and that's why it changes the direction. Screen illuminated in bright lines parallel to the slits. Separated by dark interference fringe. This proves that light is a wave motion. If it would go through just one hole, as it is with the first one, then it would enter all the same, because it just comes out the same again. But now as a proof, we're letting it through two at the same time. And these are exactly the same waves, because maybe it doesn't have one, but it's through two holes again. Now these two holes, they're gonna meet each at one point, the waves. And where they meet with the crests of a wave, they make bright light, and where they're meeting one crest with a through, there is a dark. And that lets the light then at the end appear in light, bright light, and then almost dark. If there would be just one hole, it would come everywhere, because when it would just spread out from it, now there are two, so there some places they're coming through two holes, and at some places they disrupt each other. That works only because we're having waves. If it would be streams, so straight line, what would then happen? The light would come from the first one and hit against the first bar. and it wouldn't go through the second bar at all. Imagine the light would come at the second bar, when it would come through 2, and it would just give exactly 2 bright spots. So the light would just pass through the first hole and the second hole, and the light would just come there to there. But the light is not traveling in waves, do they say? I still see it maybe with the wrong angle. For waves, maybe not. If you're talking about waves, from what angle do we see it? Now, I first saw it the wrong way. I saw it as we're seeing the waves from the side, so we're seeing the wave next that. But we're seeing the wave here from the top. Is the wave moving in a 2D picture like that, or is it moving like that? Now, if you look at it like that, it comes from the first hole and then it spreads to the side. Maybe it goes also to the top, so light is not just... Is light spreading 2-dimensional as a wave, or is it spreading 3-dimensional? 3-dimensional to what sides? But these are not the same photons. But how does it not work? So I think you get the idea. But the light is not just traveling in one thing. It would be a stream. But what if we have a stream moving as a wave? What makes it doing a wave? I think we're confusing 2 or 3 things, but I think the answers will be as fascinating as our misunderstanding or a different view into it, because we don't know. Okay, I think we let it here. We say light moves as a wave. We understand the basic setup. Now we're just having a few questions. Is the light going to one side, or is it going to 2 sides, or even to all sides at the same time? That probably, but yes, it would still interfere with each other. It wouldn't change anything. But how is the light now doing this wave? Is it the same photon which is moving like that? Like a snake? Why is the photon doing that? Is there something in the way? Why is the photon moving like that? Is it then what makes the photon move like that? So we're having a bunch of questions more, but we also understood more basics and are probably more able to understand if we get the explanation to our questions. That means that was the physics part. If you were here for physics, you can go directly to the next part of physics, where we probably come back to that book. We had now read all the double page and try to make a little presentation about 1 or 2 things which we understand. Otherwise not. Maybe to the history of light waves or whatever. So maybe we come back on making 1 or 2 videos or not, or go to the next part, whatever. You can go to the next part of physics, because we will continue in physics with it or without it. If you stay here and participate in the body center training, then it's better that you own this game. We don't have that much time. The nonchalant dancing elephant. The legs are standing hip width apart, they're going a bit down, flexing the leg muscles, pressing the legs together, and now straightening one leg. Press together both legs, and bend it again. Straighten the other leg, press together both legs. The whole time. And bend it again, press together both legs. And up. Similar. Legs wider apart and a bit down. Flex the legs, press the legs together. Straighten one leg. Bend it again, press together and flex the whole time. And the up one. And bend it again. Up again. And now the locomotive not willing to derail. Press to the outside. Next exercise. The leg up. Railing with the leg, flex foot, even line tips, taller with the back, and press on the top against the knee. Have a little bend in the elbow. Press on the side, slash and back slash exercise. Now the bolt lock, press up and to the side, up to the side. And heavy swing now, press from the side, and up slowly. Close again. Other leg up, press from the top, same setup. From the side. And press up to the side. And I press from the outside, out slowly. Close again. Now we don't have much time left, but we're having 3 exercises on the ground left. So, plank first. And then one leg up if you like and can. Now on the long arm. One arm out, leg up, and bring knee to elbow. Other side. First on the elbow. Leg up. And now on the long arm. Arm out, leg up, and bring knee to elbow. and up again. So walk between the place. Make some sides, breathing down. The trunk cutter loose. One more round. And out. Breathe in and close the legs. And breathe again out. Now it was a bit rushed. Body center training. But I thank you very much and until next time.